Hello everyone, welcome to the presentation of Hit Refresh by Satya Nadella. This is me, Sujana Maharjan, with my team members Najani, Saphal, and Shreeyush. Now, talking about table of contents, we have included some introduction, some limitation, leadership theories, critical lens, comparative analysis with some key takeaways. Uh, Understanding Hit Refresh. Hit Refresh by Satya Nadella is a book that gives insight on how he transformed Microsoft leadership and culture. He focused on key areas like organizational cultures, adapting to rapid technological change, and redefining leadership in digital areas. Before 2014, the organization was very inter-organized with internal challenges, with internal competitions, and there were no collaborations. There were also some reduced innovations. There were no updated technologies. After Nadella's transformation, there was huge changes in culture change to teamworks and education. There were also some expand on digital services and focus on cloud computing. Now, focusing on the Microsoft's transformation, Nadella encouraged a culture of learn it all rather than know it all, where employees were constantly learning and giving their inputs. He also focused on empathy in leadership, where he valued everyone's decisions. He also hugely followed the collaborations and decision makings of everyone. He also focused on some innovations and strategic shift, where he introduced updated technologies and platforms. He also mostly focused on cloud computing and artificial intelligence. Uh, Now, the Nadella effect and strategic transformation. He had a huge legacy on updating the company from fragmented to a bigger purpose. He also built some cloud infrastructure like Azure. He expanded Microsoft Professional Network, and he secured some AI leaderships. Although he did some very good job with the company, but there comes with some concerns and limitations. Like, although he focused on collaborations and everybody's inputs, but that may reduce some urgency. That may also slow some decision makings. Likewise, there could be some talks about less effective in like highly hierarchical or crisis-driven organization. Now, for the more input, I would like to call Nasli. Thank you.
Hello, this is Najani Thapa, and I will be talking about the leadership theories framework Satya Nadella has applied through the lens of Hit Refresh. So, we needed to build deeper empathy for our customers and their unarticulated and unmet needs. It was time to hit refresh. So, the quote by Satya Nadella clearly refreshes that how he has applied leadership theories towards the Microsoft company. So, talking about the first leadership theory, transformation leadership, where Satya Nadella has tried to change the whole Microsoft's culture and mindset, where he has changed the culture from know it all to learn it all, which has encouraged curiosity, openness, and learning towards the employees and the organization. And talking about the second leadership theory, servant leadership, so where it is also one of the crucial role that Satya Nadella has applied towards the Microsoft, where he has applied people's first culture, where he has started putting employees' needs and work ahead than his. So where he has prioritized employees' well-being and growth and shifted the whole focus of authority towards the support, which has decreased the controlness in the organization. And talking about the last leadership theory, visionary leadership theory, Satya Nadella was really very visionary about his company and his long-term vision towards his work, which has led toward obviously long-term growth in the company, where he has driven the Microsoft, moved the Microsoft from Windows-centric towards the cloud-first mobile organization, which has led towards the ecosystem thinking and growth towards the company, where he has collaborated with his partners and not going towards the competitions. So whole Microsoft is not only done by single theory, which is compiled of three basic leadership theories. Now, for the further presentation, I would like to call my friend Saphal.
Hello, I'm Saphal, and my section looks at how leadership theory connects to Nadella's Microsoft. In Heat Refresh, Nadella has described how his cloud-first, mobile-first vision gave Microsoft a completely new direction. His investment in companies like GitHub, LinkedIn, and AI showed he wanted people to experiment and try new things and grow. and his personal story of raising his son Jane, who was born with several palsy, shaped his belief that empathy should be at one of the everything Microsoft does. And however, there are three limitations to this approach. Too much empathy can slow decisions. Nadella himself admit in his refresh that shifting Microsoft culture took care of difficult conversations and tough calls. His growth mindset can uh, his growth mindset philosophy from Carol Dweck was meant to inspire people, but when pushed as a company rule, it can lead to stress and burnout. And this model may not work everywhere. Nadella has a huge company and massive resource and perfect timing with cloud technology, but not every other company has these advantages. Finally, there are two theories that challenge Nadella's approach. Traditional management says peer authority works better than empathy in crisis. Even in hit refresh, Nadella had to make tough strategic decisions like partnering with rivalries like Linux and Salesforce, which require clear strategy and but not empathy. Complexity theory says Microsoft success may reflect good market timing rather than culture alone. But what made Nadella's true special was balancing people's decision and vision all at the same time. And he writes, and he refers, leadership is about finding clarity in chaos. And I'd like to call my friend Shreeyush for the presentation.
I'll be talking about the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities in the leadership framework used by Satya Nadella in his tenure as Microsoft. In his leadership, uh, Microsoft was innovation innovation driven, flexible, decentralized, encouraged under decentralized. They were open to take smart risks. They were open to experiment on new things, but they had weaknesses as well. Large companies may be affected by the problem of coordination when decisions are decentralized. Also, about talking about the opportunities, Microsoft can influence other organizations to adopt digital practices such as cloud and AI to improve their teamwork and efficiency. Talking about Microsoft versus traditional industries, Microsoft is focused on rapid innovation. They value learning and changing constantly. Most of the decisions are data driven, whereas in traditional industries, backward system result in slower change. Hierarchical structures make the decisions slower, and mostly they emphasize effectiveness and stability over learning and changing constantly. In this slide, we will talk about ethical side of the leadership. Empathy is important, but it has limits. It has certain limits because every person is different. A growth mindset helps worker, but may also cause stress. So a good leader must support employee and give them a fair environment for work. And talking about leadership challenges, I'll be talking about modern leadership challenges such as AI. AI helps the company grow, but also makes employee have a fear about losing their jobs. About take layoff. Take layoff is hard. It tests the fairness and transparency of the leader. And talking about hybrid work um, requires trust, good teamwork, and good collaboration skills. The key takeaways from this case study was put people's first, build coalitions, lead with stories, and think beyond your profit. And talking about our group reflection, we were a team of four. Initially, we faced difficulty in interacting as all members were new to each other. Gradually, we built comfort and regular meetings and open communication. Thank you.